You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
The Caribbean Academy of Sciences Jamaica, CASJ, hosted their 21st General Meeting and Conference at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Business Access TV has all the highlights, so stay tuned.
As the university goes through its 70th years, 70 years of service, 70 years of excellence, we're at the vanguard of educational excellence. And we extend heartfelt congratulations to our partners at CAS and CASJ as they commemorate their anniversaries and move forward. The theme selected by CAS this year is very befitting: science, technology, and innovation, vehicles for a knowledge-based economy. This collaboration amongst CAS, CASJ, and the UWI yields an investment in science, technology, and innovation fostered by a robust research development portfolio. It is essential as a precursor to the knowledge-based economy. Science and technology, as well as innovation, has now formed a part of the university's strategic plan. As you may know, our strategic plan is based on access, alignment, and agility. Within access, AC4, which is to increase the quality, quantity, and impact of research, innovation, and publication, feeds directly into this goal. We therefore are trying to, within the University of the West Indies, increase all that we do, not just in quality and quantity, but impact, since that which creates impact may not yet be published, but be impactful in a decision-making process for a country. This conference will facilitate a forum for the cross-pollination among different research fields. We will elucidate and discuss innovative theories, frameworks, methodologies, tools, and applications which may be of use in enhancing the quality of human life and contribute effectively to sustainable economic development. It is our hope that you will take this knowledge into your public and private setting, into your institutions, your agencies, your ministries, so that the dialogue may continue. And with the University of the West Indies being at the lead, we would like to offer ourselves to be that research engine for entities who would like research and development done. The substance of the policies which will come from our research continue to emulate, and I invite you to our next research days, which will be in February, where you can see the research from this faculty, science and technology, on display as it relates to policies. Last year we did medical sciences. This year we're doing science and technology. To all our colleagues at CAS and CASJ, I say welcome, especially those who are visiting for the first time, and look forward to a partnership which we think is essential and critical to the nexus in our regional economic venture and development. I welcome you all and look forward to a productive 4 days.
As a reaffirmation of the essential right of universal access to science in the framework of the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Established by UNESCO in 2001, the World Science Day for Peace and Development highlights the role of science in society and the need to engage the wider public on emerging issues relevant to science. As the Director General of UNESCO, Madame Audrey Azoulay, indicated, the astonishing progress made by science in recent decades has changed our lives. Science and its countless applications now condition all aspects of human life. The resulting innovations are an opportunity for the development of our sciences. They are improving our well-being, facilitating daily life, and pushing back borders that seem immutable in the fields of medicine, transportation, communication, and knowledge sharing. They are an engine of growth and wealth. UNESCO recognizes that sciences, technology, and innovation, STI, provide key answers to build peace and bolster sustainable development, and therefore, we need more integrated science to strengthen water management, to ensure the sustainable use of the ocean, to protect ecosystems and biodiversity, to tackle climate change and disasters, and to foster innovation. This is why Sciences, Technology and Innovation, STI, stands at the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. In this spirit, UNESCO has developed a unique approach to promote global scientific cooperation between and within societies, combining global sustainability and local actions and knowledge with focus on gender equality. In this respect, UNESCO is pleased to support the forum designed by the Caribbean Academy of Science Jamaica chapter on cracking the code to gender disparities in creating knowledge-based economy, increasing female participation in STEM, in which the reality of gender parity in STEM with special reference to the Caribbean will be examined. On the other hand, today, as the complexity of the world's issues goes beyond the framework of a single discipline, UNESCO has made transdisciplinarity the cornerstone of its work for sustainability, building networks with multiple stakeholders, and promoting South-South and North-South-South cooperation to foster sciences, technology, and innovation, STI, for sustainable development and to encourage mutual understanding and peace.
Our objective is to promote science and also instill science culture in the society, and because science culture presently in societies is very, very low, and the government has to understand that without science and technology and innovations, the economy cannot grow. Technology we are developing quite rapidly in terms of the information technology and all this, but what is needed is the transfer of the technological aspects, high technological aspects into the society, and that has to be brought by the young scientists who are engaged in those kind of scientific endeavor. And also we need government to support this kind of activities.
At the opening ceremony, one of the points that really stood out for me was the fact that the different disciplines seem to, there's a little disparity. So humanities, we need our space, and scientists need their space. And besides my personal research, I'm also a facilitator at the Shell STEM program in Trinidad. And one of the things I do in my presentations is that I like to introduce the fact to students that STEM you can do, the world is open to you in terms of opportunities. So for instance, if you like art, you can become a biological illustrator. If you love journalism, you can be a science journalist. The world is just open, and I really wish that this conference, a lot of people will see that. It's not scientists by themselves. It's everybody. We can all benefit in some way from science. It's nothing to be scared of.
With another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It has become a bit of a cliche to state that science and technology are key drivers of economic growth in the 21st century. Many researchers have pointed to the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century and the scientific revolution of the 20th century as setting the conditions that have given rise to today's global knowledge-based creative economy. Nowhere is the impact of science and technology on our lives more obvious than in the rapid innovations in communications and computing technologies, leading to more countries being able to participate more fully in the global economy. Today, new technologies are transforming and expanding many economies in the same way that earlier industrial and technological advances changed the course of history. Indeed, a growing percentage of wealth in the world's largest economies is created by knowledge-based industries that rely heavily on human capital and technological innovation. We are, of course, challenged by the question, what exactly is this knowledge-based economy? The World Bank and the OECD have defined it as an economy where knowledge is created, acquired, transmitted, and used effectively and creatively by organizations, enterprises, individuals, and communities to develop groundbreaking ideas and models. One example, often cited, of an economy that was rapidly transformed by an embrace of science and technology is that of South Korea. Its rapid progress in the knowledge and information revolution was attributed, to a large extent, to its widespread internet usage. The government recognized very early the need for the country to get connected to the web, and in the late 1990s invested heavily in broadband infrastructure. Privatization and deregulation in the telecom sector also led to South Korea being amongst the most wired nations in the world, with over 80% of households hooked up to broadband. Well, what of us here in the Caribbean? If we are to see any significant movement in our economic development as knowledge-based economies, a number of things will have to be addressed, including economic and institutional infrastructure, information infrastructure, and education. The government of Jamaica has recognized this and has committed to investing more in STEM education. In fact, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM programs in schools remain one of high priority for the Ministry of Education, Youth, and Information. Just by way of background, the STEM initiative was started in a formal and concerted way within the ministry in May 2014 and has continued under the current administration. The ministry established a STEM steering committee to provide oversight to the work of the STEM team, as well as the STEM technical committee that is driving the research and training component of the initiative. Under the new administration, the following have been done. Steering committee meeting would have been held in September 2016. New members invited to join the STEM committee. Just over $200 million have been budgeted to fund STEM and some non-STEM schools for the procurement of STEM-related equipment and material. The following tasks have been undertaken and are either complete or near completion. The first being a STEM concept paper has been completed and ratified by the STEM steering committee. And that, of course, sets out the thrust, the undergirding thrust of what it is that the ministry is embarked on. Secondly, work on a list of criteria for certification of STEM institutions for the academic year started in 2016 and is now about 90% complete. Thirdly, the Sydney Pagan Agricultural School, and in terms of the geography and locale, that's down in St. Elizabeth, northeast St. Elizabeth to be precise. So the Sydney Pagan Agricultural School has been transformed into a STEM academy. This was initiated in September 2014 with some 100 students at grade 7 and approximately $20 million having been spent on infrastructure to include upgrading of classrooms and laboratories. Equipment and material for the science program are being provided to enhance the project-based learning in accordance with STEM methodology. Recruitment of additional staff has been done, and extensive training of the academic and other staff members done to build their capacity. So upskilling would be an important part of this entire initiative.
I am working in the area of materials chemistry, and a considerable amount of my research is about developing new materials for renewable energy technologies. I also do, again, an extensive amount of work in catalytic chemistry, that's developing new catalysts for key industrial processes. I think the area of renewable energy technologies is of key importance for the whole world, but of course for the Caribbean nations. I think, for instance, there is clearly great scope in the Caribbean for greater deployment of solar energy technologies, but maybe other energy technologies as well. We need to move away from the current dependence on fossil fuels. We need, for instance, or perhaps in particular, to attract high-quality students into the STEM field if we're going to have vigorous research community. That is a challenge. It's a challenge for the scientific community to present the work they're doing in an accessible way, particularly to young people, so that it seems an attractive area and an attractive career. It's a challenge for government as well to ensure that the facilities for high-quality STEM education are receive high priority.
Your presentation was entitled Rethinking STEM, Higher Education in the 21st Century. Highlight the main points of your presentation.
The main points that I made are, first of all, that today's students are facing a very different world than the ones that I grew up in. Today's STEM fields are really critical for the jobs of the future. So we need more students who are competent in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and who can apply their understanding of those fields to practical problems, producing new solutions to problems that humanity faces. What I stressed in my presentation is that the way we teach students is pivotal for increasing and sustaining their interest in STEM. That's important for future STEM professionals, but it's also important for the citizenry in general to understand what science and technology and engineering and mathematics are and why they're important for society. So we need to deal with education from general level all the way to the highly professional level. And I also stressed very much in my presentation that the way we teach, the way we deal with our learners in university is very important. The old way was lecturing, that is talking at the students, and evidence now shows that that's not a good way to learn. What I stress is the importance of what we call active learning. This is where students engage with each other, they discuss in real time in class the issues that are being presented to them, they learn to apply their knowledge on the spot, they learn to work in groups because that's critically important for the future. Employers want teamwork. They don't want solo workers. They want nimble, innovative thinkers, and that the way to get them is to have them talk to each other and energize each other and discover how the knowledge that they're learning can be used. Scientific research and the companion of that, which is engineering, to apply knowledge for technological advancement, this is crucially important for the economies of nations going forward into what we call the fourth industrial revolution, where data science and cyber science and electronic digital communications, all of these things that didn't exist in the 20th century are now pivotal going forward. And any country that sustains interest in those fields and equips students with the tools to be innovators, to be producers of new knowledge, that's going to fuel the economy of that country. So there's no going back. We're not going back away from this highly technological future. So we want to prepare kids to be ready for it.
We're an investment management company. We're a licensed securities dealer, and we trade and invest mainly in US dollar denominated securities that trade on the global market, and mainly fixed income securities, bonds, and so on. Those are the main products that we offer for our clients. And our clients are mainly people looking for medium to long-term investments that will retain their value and give them a good return. It's really great to bring scientists together here in Jamaica from all across the Caribbean and to spend 3 or 4 days exchanging ideas, papers, etc. We're very happy. We have a very good relationship with the university. We are the investment house of choice for the discerning investors, the people who are looking for medium to long-term returns, people investing for their pensions, any sort of medium to long-term investment. We think we offer very good products and services in that regard.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
So we're here with Kiara Cosmetics, a wellness and beauty company that specializes in all natural products that are designed to enhance your beauty naturally. And we utilize Jamaican materials, indigenous Jamaican plant extracts and essential oils to bring out that key properties that will give you what you need to help take care of your skin, hair, and nails. So Kiara Cosmetics, we formulate unique products, and our products are really geared towards our population, because what you find on our markets is flooded with imported products that we're developing in European markets or with persons with different physiological profile than we have. So Kiara Cosmetics products are specially designed, expertly formulated, taking all these things in mind. So when you utilize your products, you actually get the benefits that you wanted and what the products were intended for. Cosmetics is a science. It's a very intense science. As a matter of fact, it's a very specialized area that you have to study and be trained in. When you know your ingredients, know how they function, and not just how they function as individual ingredients, but in combination with each other, is very essential, and that's what science does when you're talking about cosmetic chemistry. So the response has been good, especially from the audience as well. A lot of persons coming in and having that confidence, knowing that the products were developed by a chemist. It actually helps, and knowing that I'm UWI bred, that also goes a long way. So it has been phenomenal. So our products are available right across Jamaica. They're also available in the US. We ship to the US. We actually keep inventory in New York. So you can order online at www.kiaracosmetics.com. You can follow us on Instagram as well as on Facebook, where you can keep up to date with what is happening. We also have a blog on our website that is teaching persons general knowledge about taking care of their hair, skin, and nails, because what we really believe in is not just beauty, but your natural beauty and enhancing that natural beauty. We all have issues. We all have something or another that we are not so confident about, and that's what Kiara Cosmetics is about. How do you build that confidence without putting on too much, without changing who you are? So what we're doing is enhancing your natural beauty.
Well, Conrad Douglas and Associates and its subsidiary Estec are the pioneering companies in the Caribbean Jamaica for environmental management and project development and feasibility analysis. Conrad Douglas and Associates Limited was established 33 years ago, so we're heading into our 34th year. ESTEC, which is a subsidiary, was established 23 years ago, so that's 24 years in the industry. We have done significant work in Jamaica in all industries, tourism, bauxite, and we have also worked internationally in a number of industries within the Caribbean also, so our experience is very international. Presently, we're very active also now in the environmental management and project development phase, and we are integrally now into the energy sector transformation with natural gas, where we are doing the environmental management for New Fortress Energy, who is bringing natural gas to a number of entities within the Jamaican economy. So this speaks very well for the industry, because it now opens up these companies to the need for significant and proper environmental management and planning to ensure that we in Jamaica are protecting our natural resources while we advance the economy. And it can be done, and that is what we have been doing for the last 34 years. We have been developing projects, implementing them, and ensuring that the environment is protected. We are engaged in sustainable development at its highest level. CAS is the Caribbean Academy of Sciences, and now we are premier sponsors for this event. And it is a very good partnership because we are in the business of science and technology and information. And this year's theme of using science and technology as a vehicle for development is well within our mantra and our what we believe should be the guiding vehicle for development: science, technology, and information.
Showcase Jamaica Tours is a premier tour company that offers guided tours all across the island of Jamaica. We pride ourselves in the quality of our tour guides. People spend a lot of money to come to Jamaica, so we want to know they get value for their money. They feel at the end of the tour that they have really got value for the money that they have spent. Our tours tend to be more personalized, so we are less of the big bus operation and smaller personalized tours, so we can coin any tour to suit the needs or the interests of different people. We do night tours. We take them to dinner, we take them dancing, concerts, any kind of concert. I was invited to be the tour operator of choice for the conference delegates, so that they could get a chance to see something of Jamaica, because most times people come and it's an airport, a conference room, hotel room, and then they're back to the airport. So this time they're giving them a chance to have a little local experience and to see a little of what Jamaica has to offer, and we have a lot to offer. I just invite anybody who is a visitor to the island, and even if you're a local and you haven't seen much of the island, to come and join one of our experiences. You can contact us via telephone 876-817-3366, or we can be reached by email at showcasejamaicatours@yahoo.com. And of course, we have a website where you will see a number of tours being offered, and that's www.showcasejamaicatours.com.
That was CASJ's 21st General Meeting and Conference held at the UWI Mona. Thanks for tuning into Business Access TV, serious about business.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's the official start of a new school year. Whether you're starting at the infant, primary, secondary, or tertiary level, we here at the JIS wish you a productive year. Remember, your attitude determines your altitude, so be sure to have an open mind to receive your lessons. Study without procrastination, and most of all, don't be too hard on yourself. School is an environment of triumphs, trials, and errors. So just stick to it, and you will achieve your goals. All the best.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, more than a supper.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the idling. You think I saw? We reach out the edging. I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, September 2. Prime Minister Andrew Holness broke ground on Friday for 110 single-story, two-bedroom duplex units at the Twickenham Glades housing development in St. Catherine. The $1.4 billion project, which is to be completed in 16 months, is Phase 4 of the National Housing Trust Twickenham Park housing development.
This will include civil infrastructure such as roadways, a stormwater drainage system, a potable water distribution network, sewage system, and a boundary wall with restricted access and a guardhouse. There will be areas earmarked for open space and other such amenities, including multi-purpose courts, a community center, and all of this is done to foster a closely knit community.
Twickenham Glades will add to the over 4,000 housing solutions that have been developed and delivered in St. Catherine since 2017. Among the other projects to come on stream is 602 solutions in Colbeck Castle. The Health and Wellness Ministry will be launching its pre-exposure prophylaxis PrEP pilot program before the end of the year as part of efforts to tackle HIV infections. Acting Director of Health Promotion and Protection in the ministry, Dr. Simone Spence, says the aim is to reduce new cases of the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, to zero.
In terms of our pilot program for PrEP, we're in the preparatory stages of that, looking at determining criteria in terms of which patients would be most suited to participate, and then do a pilot to roll that out later this year before we make a definitive decision on how it is logistically we roll out the PrEP program.
Dr. Spence was speaking at the ministry's recent quarterly press conference. PrEP is a pill that is designed to be taken by HIV-negative individuals to prevent contraction of the virus. According to Dr. Spence, persons who take PrEP daily are said to reduce their risk of getting HIV from sex by more than 90%. Initial funding for the PrEP pilot program is being provided by the government, which is also financing the antiretroviral medications that are provided to persons living with HIV. Meanwhile, a 24-hour toll-free helpline will soon be launched by the Ministry of Health and Wellness for persons living with mental illnesses and those affected by the condition. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says a private branch exchange, PBX Network, has already been purchased to establish the helpline, which will be able to accept multiple calls at the same time. 5 psychologists will be employed to man the new system.
The study that we commissioned, the Mental Illness and Homelessness Task Force, suggests that 4 of every 10 Jamaicans at some point in their lives will be affected by some sort of mental instability. We are very sensitive to the issue, and we have deployed, having done the report, resources to address a number of areas around mental illness.
Dr. Tufton was speaking recently at his ministry's quarterly press conference. He said mental health professionals were being trained to increase the level of care needed by persons who will access the helpline. Already 30 professionals have been trained to provide on-site response with police officers, firemen, and mental health team members. Private medical practitioners are also to form part of the network of responders at the parish level.
In addition to that, Logistic support will be provided through the acquisition of some 14 buses, mental health buses, vehicles that are dedicated to mental health at the parish level.
The helpline will be promoted ahead of the launch, and a public education campaign will be rolled out to address stigmatization. Results of the primary exit profile of PEP for students in grades 4 and 5 will be made available in the coming weeks. Minister with Oversight for the Education Ministry, Carl Samuda, gave the update during his ministry's recently held back-to-school press conference.
Grade 5 will be released on Friday, September the 13th, 2019, and Grade 4 will be released on Friday, October the 4th, 2019. The detailed support report will provide comprehensive information on students' achievements of specific subcategories in all subjects: mathematics, science, social studies, and language arts.
The primary exit profile is the series of tests being administered from grade 4 to 6. It replaces GSAT as the National Secondary School Entrance Examination and is intended to provide a more comprehensive assessment of students' academic and critical thinking capabilities at the end of their primary level education. And finally, the nation was hit on Sunday with news of the death of two icons of Jamaica, Dr. Ken Baugh and Samir Yunus. Both men have been ailing for some time. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has hailed Dr. Ken Baugh as a statesman and a true gentleman of politics. He says Dr. Baugh exemplified dignity and integrity throughout his public life. During his political career, Dr. Baugh served as Minister of Health, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and Deputy Prime Minister, as well as General Secretary and Chairman of the Jamaica Labour Party. He also served as a Senator and a Member of Parliament for Northwest St. James and then West Central St. Catherine until his retirement in 2016. Leader of the opposition, Dr. Peter Phillips, says Dr. Baugh gave many years of faithful service to the country as a surgeon and also in politics and ministerial service. In paying tribute, he remarked that the nation has lost a true and dedicated son. As for Samir Yunus, he was recognized by both leaders as a nation builder. Prime Minister Andrew Holness called Yunus one of our great developers of industry. Dr. Phillips praised him for his dedication to public service. Samir Yunus served as president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce from 1986 to 1991 and as president of the Jamaica Manufacturers Association from 1996 to 2000. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Jamaicans, drivers, passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians, slow down. Observe the rules of the road. Be courteous. Drive defensively. Be considerate. Buckle up. Wear a helmet. The careless overtaker is only rushing to the undertaker. Not observing the rules of the road could cost you your life and that of your loved ones. I encourage all road users to take special care as we use public thoroughfares. The life you save may be your own. Remember, your family wants you to arrive alive.
It's back to school for most, and with it comes increased traffic on the roads. Though it can be difficult to readjust to the early morning routine, we don't want you to forget these simple road courtesies.
Pedestrians, it is only safe to cross this designated part of the road if you follow the road rules. Never attempt to cross before the indication is given, and do not try to beat the oncoming traffic which has the green light.
You have overhead bridges, and overhead bridges are safe areas that are provided for pedestrians to cross. What we are seeing are pedestrians dashing across, dual carriageways and then leaping over concrete medians. That is a no-no. We have had persons who have lost their lives doing that. And I am now appealing to pedestrians to do the right thing and access the overhead bridges that are provided in order to save your own life.
Where there is no overhead bridge or crossing sign, use the pedestrian crossing with caution. Monitor the lights and cross when it's safe to do so. That is a dangerous practice and a 99.9% chance of this happening.
The amount of kinetic energy that comes on your body, that is going to determine whether or not you survive.
There are several signs. Road signs are the language of the road. You have informational signs, directional signs, warning signs, and you have enforcement signs. Enforcement signs are erected upright or those that are drawn on the road surface. For example, you have stop sign, one-way sign, and it points in the direction where the one-way is. No U-turn, no parking, no right turn, no entry, a number of signs. If there's no sign that are erected upright, you will see yellow markings painted on curb walls. That constitute no parking, and you should not park in those areas. You park where white painting is drawn on those curb walls. Those are areas where parking is permitted. You have continuous white lines that are drawn on road surface. No motorist should drive to the right of a continuous white line. There are some other signs, especially like along Knutsford Boulevard, where the dual carriageway is, but there is any elevated median. You see something looking like a zebra crossing. Those crossing depicts a median, but a median that is not elevated. If you disobey a stop sign, it carries a fine of $4,000 or 6 demerit points. If you disobey the traffic light, the red light, that too carries $4,000 a fine or 6 demerit points. On the approach of a traffic light, for example, Halfway Tree Road, Chelsea Avenue, by GIS there is no filter light. You are to obey the light, and whenever you get green, you are to proceed. These lights are so configured that they allow for a pedestrian to cross. So when that red light is on, pedestrians are crossing. So that's why a filter light is not put in. When approaching a roundabout, you are to yield to the person to the right. Right? Always allow for that person to go first. A similar thing with a yield sign, a give-way sign. You are to yield to the person and allow that person to proceed. If you happen to overtake, you are to do so if the way is clear, and once you complete that maneuver, you are to get back to the left lane and remain there. We have persons anticipating the light. You have those that are anticipating the green, and even before the green comes on, they are off. And you have others who are beating the amber in order to go by as well. And I should tell you this, red means you are to stop, amber means you are to prepare to stop, and green means you are to go if the way is clear.
And remember, always wear your seatbelt.
Be an active participant in your child's life. Spend time with your child. No phones, no television, no distractions, just the two of you. Get to know your child through play. Why not go to the park and get on the monkey bars? Sharing a meal can also be a time of bonding. If your child's in school, be involved in school activities. Speak with your child's teacher, follow up on their progress in school, and see how you can help. Assist them with homework. Attend parent-teacher meetings and support school fundraising events. Remember, your child's future is in your hands. Safeguard it.
So glad you are a child of mine.
Anna, why you knocking down my door? What is it?
Jackie, I don't know what to do. From Jason dead, I have nothing to give to the children, and I don't know where to turn.
So why you didn't go down to the Administrator General's department, the place I told you about the other day?
Lord Jackie, me know you try to help me, you know, but member say me and Jason never did marry, you know.
What do you mean by that, Anna? The law say if a single man and a single woman live together as husband and wife for 5 years and more immediately before death, then he or she is considered a spouse.
Really? That mean me can't get something then? Cause boy, it rough, you know.
Yes, man, just go down there, tell them about the case, that Jason died, leaving no will, house and children under 18 years. Go down there and see what them can do for you.
A true you're talking, Jackie. Where you say the place there again?
Down a waterfront, man. 12 Ocean Boulevard. Go down there, talk to them and see if them can help you.
Okay, I'm going down there right now.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning, miss. I hear that the Administrator General's department can help me. You see, my children, them father died, leaving me with the 2 pitney them, and I'm me alone I care for them.
Did he leave a will?
Will, ma'am. After Jason never ready for dead, I come from work and drop down dead. My friend tell me say under the law I'm considered a spouse. By the way, who is a spouse?
Under the Interstates, Estates and Property Charges Act, a spouse is a single man and woman living together as husband and wife for 5 years or more. By living together, the two persons should not have been separated at any time during the 5 years immediately before death. A surviving spouse includes a person who is legally married. That is, he or she went in front of a pastor and took the vow of marriage. If Anna meets the requirements, she can hire an attorney at law or go to the legal aid clinic to apply for an order from the court declaring that she's a spouse. Some of the questions the court will look at are: did Anna and Jason break up during the 5 years? Did Jason have any children born in the same year as Anna's children? The court will also want to know if Anna or Jason were married before and not divorced. Once the order has been granted, the spouse would be entitled to benefit from the estate of the deceased. For further information, you can visit the Administrator General's Department in Kingston, 3rd floor at the Office Center Building, 12 Ocean Boulevard, or call us at 922-183023. You can also visit our Western office at the 2nd floor of the National Housing Trust Building at 42B Union Street, Montego Bay, St. James. Telephone 630-4261. Our website is at www.agd.gov.jm. That's the Administrator General's Department, securing your legacy.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
The government has earmarked a day in December for the completion of the draft National Spatial Plan. How will this benefit us? Minister Darrell Vaz explains.
The National Spatial Plan will ensure the optimal use of the nation's land and marine resources and outline the framework for their effective use and management. The plan will therefore provide a strategic spatial framework to guide national development and investment decision-making. The NSP will address the major challenges of disaster risk reduction and climate change response while protecting the environment, improving natural resource management, and enhancing the quality of the built environment. The plan will identify priorities for the spatial planning and development of human settlements, commercial and industrial developments, and improvement of infrastructure for public utilities and social amenities. This NSP is intended to go beyond being a paper document and will be supported by a national spatial planning information technology platform. The NSPIT platform will be accessible to the general public and aims to ultimately provide all the spatial planning database and information to support online application and processing of development applications. All the ministries, agencies, and departments involved in the development processes will therefore benefit from a state-of-the-art and dynamic IT-supported spatial plan.
There's a sort of purposeful selection of the sequence in these human movements. The symbolic significance of hands massaging the air and feet beating to the vibrations of songs. They're focused, energized, ready, and raring to go. If you think about it, they are just like you and I. Well, of course, that's if you can dance. But one thing might be different.
I've been there for 23 years, and I've been dancing for 10 years. I've been there for 21 years, and I've been dancing for 14 years. So I've been hard of hearing ever since I was born until now. And I've been dancing for 16 years.
Yes, persons like Christoph, Kimberly, and Damani dance. And despite nature's act of removing a seemingly valuable aspect of their senses, these three are pursuing a certificate in dance at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, but not without some challenges.
Well, my experience here, at first, when the three of us just arrived, we were a bit awkward in terms of communicating, but then we were able to learn from each other, learning from the hearing students, and we were able to we had issues as well with the rhythm, keeping up with the rhythm at all times, but then we were eventually able to catch up and we started to improve gradually. So for me, my main issue is timing. So I try to work along closely with the other students in the class and the teacher as well, and then eventually I'm able to catch up with the timing in terms of the music. So my challenge during class, it's really to ensure that my body is moving with the timing and the music.
Deaf dancers do move on the beat and in one accord with the rhythm, but the surprising element in this for most persons is just how are they able to, or even why did they choose dance?
I hear a little of the music and I can feel the vibration on the floor as well. So it's not that bad for me. So I use that method throughout.
With his sense of touch heightened through his loss of hearing, Damani can interpret the music through the vibrations he feels. Deaf dancers are visual learners, so for them, their instructors sign the moves or the counts. While other dancers are busy remembering the details of the moves, those like Damani, Kimberly, and Christoph are counting, keeping time, and watching keenly what their hearing peers are doing so they can interpret the steps.
So I chose to study dancing because dancing is my life. It's my passion ever since. So I want to learn more and more about dancing. I don't want to give up. I don't want to stop. I want to continue. Because my goal is to become a dancer in the future. So when I'm finished at Endemani College, I want to become a dancer and I want to perform around the world. So my goal is to become a dance teacher so that I can empower younger deaf children who really love dancing and empower them so that they can, be as good as I am. It's their turn.
But for acting dean at the School of Dance, being deaf is not the biggest obstacle for becoming a great dancer.
I don't want to describe what we have as challenges. I want to describe them as opportunities to learn. What fundamental to dance is the ability to demonstrate and for the dancer to use their eyes and observe and learn the experience in a visual way and then demonstrate what it is that they have been taught. I think one of the interesting things about the deaf students is that their other senses are heightened. And so they're able to access the information in other ways and quite differently from the hearing students. So it's very interesting to see the learning dynamics, but the end result and the objective or the learning outcome of the experience are still achieved. And we're very happy about that because ultimately we want them to succeed.
And while for the school it is the first time opening its gates to persons like Christoph, Kimberly and Demani to study dance,
they're eager to receive the information and we're inspired by this drive to learn and to succeed. So even though we have an interpreter, the interpreter is also learning from the experience because we have interpreters who have never been in a school environment like this where dance is concerned, so they're also learning new language. It somehow feels as though they've brought more to us.
For many of the deaf community, the fear of fitting in lingers. But for Christoph, Kimberly and Demani, dancing is passion-driven and determination-ruled.
Well, I hope that what we've done here at the Endemani College in terms of opening our doors to 3 deaf students will encourage others and inspire them to go after their dreams.
So I remember in high school, there was a quote that says, "I believe I can achieve." I go by that. So in the Bible, it talks about, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I believe I can achieve.
And that's all we have for you today on Jamaica Magazine, but be sure to join us tomorrow around about the same time for more information you can use. You may also join us online. There's our website, our YouTube channel, our pages on all the major social media platforms, and we also have a mobile app that's compatible with Android and iOS systems. Until then, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
JAMPRO aims to increase the export of non-traditional products and of course support the development of Jamaican MSMEs. To that end, they've partnered with the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association and the Jamaica Business Development Corporation to launch the third installment of Export Max. I'm Theodore Henry for Business Access TV. Stay with us.
It is good to be here, and it's a pleasure joining you for the launch of the third iteration of this program. This morning's event is a fitting tribute to the industry players and signals a great promise for the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and the importance that has been placed on export diversification. This launch seeks to build on the success of Exports Max 1 and 2, which together recorded over $2.2 billion in sales. Indeed, its previous success sets the stage for the implementation of this third iteration, which we are now undertaking on a much larger scale. Let me take this opportunity to commend the JAMPRO on conceptualizing and taking us this far with this program. And let's welcome our new Export Max partners, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation and the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. With their strengths, we'll be joining forces to improve and efficiently manage and implement the program. And I'd like to thank our sponsors and future participants. You have signed up for a game-changing program that will have national impact. Jamaica has strong export potential and growing export capacity. The imperative for achieving greater export performance and thus realizing export-led growth and global competitiveness in our exports as part of the export strategy is therefore of extreme importance as we strive for national prosperity and wealth creation. In the globalized economy, it is critical that Jamaica becomes highly organized in order to be fully integrated into the world economy in a manner that allows us to elevate our position on the global value chain and supply chains. Jamaica has been standing still for too long. Standing still while our trading partners have been taking steps to implement best practices for business and trade-friendly environments. This ministry, therefore, through its agencies, is seeking to attain greater diversification in the export industry by achieving higher value addition in priority tech sectors, increasing the value of non-traditional export of goods through increased volume and higher value addition, increasing the contribution of services exports as a percentage of our overall exports, including our creative industries, and increasing penetration in existing markets and accessing new and emerging markets. Let me add to that the specifics, some specifics which I want you to implant in your minds. There are three distinct underdeveloped markets. Let me just mention what those three are. The tourism industry. Too much of the fresh and processed foods that they consume are coming in on the planes with the tourists, and we have the capacity to supply them. Second, CARICOM. 16 countries in CARICOM. All of them are net importers of food, fresh and processed. Yet, we export precious little to CARICOM, and we have the privilege of exporting it duty-free. And what's the third significant market? The Jamaican diaspora. In Canada, the United States, and England, the market is as big as Jamaica. Somebody from London told me recently that because they cannot get what they want in Jamaica, they import the stuff from Africa and slap a Jamaican label on it. Castor oil, by the way. A lot of castor oil that is now being sold internationally with the Jamaica label on it. The raw material is not from Jamaica. Unacceptable. So as government, we are committed to promoting brand Jamaica to the world, identifying new trade and investment opportunities in order to spur economic growth. My ministry will continue to work with critical stakeholders to enable them to capitalize on opportunities in the export market, as more than ever, greater focus must be placed on growing our economy through exports. One of the things that the ministry is committed to doing is changing the soft infrastructure that will support the growth of trading across borders. To this end, a few weeks ago, we launched a trade facilitation portal that will house the information about all the various processes that underpin trading across our borders. It is our vision that the trade information portal will be the central source of information that will ensure that if someone is an exporter, or even if they are dreaming about being an exporter, they need only to visit this one place that will provide them with all the knowledge they need to navigate the trading process. On the heels of this, we are also excited about the progress that we are making in implementing a single trade electronic window for the government, which will see all the various government processes integrated into a single online system that will allow for all trade-related transactions to be done online, supported by a robust risk management system to protect the country's borders and its reputation overseas. And so ExportMax is only one more prong in the government's network of activities that will allow for the framework for each and every exporter to experience success, and ultimately for us to achieve economic growth and prosperity in Jamaica.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
So, welcome. So let me start out by asking Dan, ExportMax, I know ExportMax started within Jampro. Why ExportMax 3 and what makes it different this time around?
Okay, thanks Claude, and good morning ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited to be here at the launch of ExportMax 3. Why are we doing ExportMax 3? It's actually one of the programs that I'm proudest of in my time at Jampro. I think that, as the minister said, export is one of our critical pieces, is critical in our lifeblood. It's in our DNA. We have to export. We're a small island nation. We have tremendous products. We need to take them to the world in a more organized, systematic way where we respect standards, we understand the adaptability of our products to market demands, where we understand the markets that we are trying to penetrate. ExportMax is that program. The results that we got out of ExportMax 1 and 2 show what a deliberate program can do, where you start by diagnosing what does the product need to be adapted to market demand, what evolution needs to go on in the company itself. So it's not just the product, but it's also the management that must have the right mindset to penetrate international markets. So we're identifying that demand, identifying the market trends, helping the companies to adapt their products, and that mentorship, which we brought on in Export Max 2, is a critical component, because the ones who are successful must help the ones who have not started yet or who have not yet been successful. So that was the innovation of Export Max 2. And what we decided in Export Max 3 is that to more than double the number of companies in the program, we really couldn't do it alone anymore, because Export Max is a really labor-intensive and brain-intensive project. It needs a lot of time spent hand-holding companies, explaining export to them, helping their management to be ready. So we really needed the help of our partners, and we're really, really proud and excited and energized that we have two such fantastic partners, as well as the other sponsors who have come on board, because we need more expertise, we need more hands on deck. Export is not easy. Standards in the international market are constantly becoming more critical, more difficult. So we needed partners on board who could help us to interpret some of the issues on the international market, some of the standards. The Bureau of Standards is on board, and also to help galvanize those exporters to greater effort and to greater understanding. And then we needed the business development side that JBUC can bring to really help companies to develop their business plans, develop their loan applications, to become more formalized, develop their bookkeeping acumen. We think this is one of the most important programs that JAMPRO and the country have ever created, because we think that this is an integrated way of taking our MSMEs the next step forward. We are very excited, and we just want to have more participation from the MSME community, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and it's when you start on that journey of trying to understand how do I get from point A to point B that you start to realize what it is you don't know and how and where you can find help. So really this is a plea to and a stimulus and an encouragement and almost a demand of the SME sector listening to us today. You need to get on board, because this program can change your life professionally and change your export horizon.
Okay. Valerie, you decided without hesitation, came on board. Why did you see training and capacity building as such important components for exporters?
Our logo speaks for what we do, which is business development in the fulsomeness of it, and how can we help you. So we know for sure that capacity building is even beyond that thing called training. It's really getting into the nitty-gritty of the companies, the enterprises, looking at the concept, if it makes sense, whether local or external market, putting the proper structures in place, and as Dan says, formalizing the business. It means governance have to be in place. You have to know your numbers to know what stories are coming out. Worst, if you're thinking of exporting, you have to be really secure in moving forward. So we have been spending a lot of time with our client group preparing them for the market, because for us, global market is right here in Jamaica. So standards must be in place. Governance must be in place. And you must be thinking business. And I agree with Dan, we have to get over that hump of doing a little thing until some big job comes along, because it's not going to come along. So it means that we have to be innovative and we have to be on target for moving forward. We're going to be looking, as we said, as we had agreed, at all the innovative industries that have the possibilities for export. So food, niche markets, high quality, value-added products, non-food, services, certainly the technology-based industries, and the creative industries in all aspects have to be part of that big umbrella. Our mandate is to help them.
Right.
So even if they come and they're not ready for Export Max, it doesn't mean that they can't be in the passageway.
Okay.
So they need not hesitate. They need to come forward. If they're not in that lane, it means you're going to prepare them for whatever is appropriate. So there is no reason to sit and wonder if. You need to come forward and let us work together and see which lane you are really in. And if you happen to move into this fast track, now, that's wonderful. If not, you're on the way to preparation. Because we must export. Dan keeps saying, export or that. I think we have been in coma because we're waiting to die.
When we look at the program, or we look at life, we always like to say, nobody born big. We all are a product of training, exposure, and experience. And you almost need all three in the right combination to be successful. So in the area of mentorship and advocacy, I think JMEA coming on board, which will have a portfolio of businesses that are already exporting, play a very important role. So I'd love to hear from you, Metri. Tell us in plain terms, how do you see the JMA supporting this effort and your decision to come on board?
Well, when I heard Diane and Valerie speak, I realized that what we have here is a perfect marriage.
Okay.
2 women and 1 man. No, I'm joking. No, seriously, what we have is a perfect marriage here. Because what we have is the JMEA that has the base of membership. Our membership base is about 400 companies, most of which and many of which are small to medium-sized companies, which is the base that we need. Then we have Valerie, who is going to do the business development process, and then Jumper that's going to deal with the export market. What we bring to the table is a lot of hand-holding. We are about solving problems and solving issues. So they're going to have issues. There's no question about it. I think one of the ways we could say it is that we're a big brother to the companies, and we hold their hands and we walk with them through the process. We just go, Valerie will take them to a particular stage, and then we will take them from there until we're ready to hand them off to Jampro to really go and do the export. But I wanted to say that the JMEA is fully committed to this program. That's why we have joined. We recognize how important it is. And as Diane said, it is probably one of the most important initiatives that any agency in Jamaica has put in place. The numbers speak for themselves, and we hope to be a part of this process going forward for a long time to come.
How does one apply for the program? Could you give some thoughts on that?
Thank you. I was hoping you'd ask that question. We have a kiosk at the back. We have several Jampro members of our team here. We have an expression of interest form, which you can get from our team at the back. Copies of the form are also available from the various agencies and on our website. On our website, www.dobusinessjamaica.com, you can download this expression of interest form and send it in, and we will be happy to contact you and start the journey with you, because this is a journey. It's a 3-year program. This is really about helping you through a process and on a journey to success. Tell your associates, people you know who have a product or who even have an idea. They can start talking to JBDC from the idea stage. So let's create a movement that can change export.
Thank you, Dan. So I'll throw it out. Any final thoughts?
This is an example, the collaboration, the example of how we in Jamaica should work together. Because no one institution or person has all the skills, all the information. And until we start putting the ego behind the door and working together, we're not going to move. So I'm celebrating from JBDC the kind of collaboration that we have agreed to have between our agencies. I think it's a good move, and we know success is down the lane.
Metri, any final
In
thoughts?
closing, I would ask everybody in this room, when you leave here today, call 5 persons that you know that are in business. Let us be oversubscribed.
Yes.
Let us have that problem. Let us reach back out to our sponsors and tell them that we need more from them, because this is good for Jamaica.
Thank you, Metri.
We have some Export Max graduates in the audience, and I think it's important not only to hear from us, but to hear from people who are actually on the program. So dare I say that Rita Hilton is on the
Yeah, they're going to be on the program. Yeah,
So Rita, Omar, I think you're all going to talk later on. So.
All right, a round of applause for the head of agencies. Thank you very much.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
I'm going to invite some past Export Max participants to speak. Rita Hilton from Carita, Jamaica, and Omar Azan, CEO of Boss Furniture. So in the spirit of ladies first, I'm going to ask Rita Hilton to come and just give a couple of remarks about her experience with Export Max.
I think this is a great opportunity. Having benefited from Export Max 2, I'd like to highlight some of the things that made it so important for me and what the results have been like. It was important for me because it allowed me to step into the Caribbean export market. Carita has been in business for 34 years, and our whole business is aligned with exports. We were primarily involved in fresh produce exports, but recently we've been adding value to Jamaican products and trying to build up that component of bringing more value to Jamaica. Now, with Export Max 2, what did I benefit from? Going into the Caribbean market, which I didn't know at all, and I have to tell you that out of that, we have one concrete market which we opened in the Bahamas. And that partner has been so impressed with our output that they have come with a proposal to invest in our company and buy equity into our company. I learned that I wasn't really completely prepared to take advantage of all the opportunities. So if you're going into Export Max 3, come with an open mind. You think you know it, you don't know it. Learn, absorb, and execute. You need to have a partner on the ground in the territory that you're going to be working with that will teach you about that market and the market needs. It's not Jamaica, and it is not the globe. It is a very special type of market, and each market has its own needs. So keep an open mind, learn from the opportunities. What was wonderful is the amount of work that Jampro put in before we went into the markets. And that was the critical success of the Export Max 2. Into every territory that we went, there were buyers available, and it wasn't the underlings that came to the market opportunities. They were high level personnel that came to talk business and to do business. The other thing that I learned so much from is the capacity building. You think you know how to run a business? Well, you don't, because the way you start is not the way you grow and keep on growing. You see all this white hair? that comes from years and years of learning. I started as a high school teacher, and our exports have reached close to $3 million US. And those are sales. That is not money to spend. That's money that you invest back in your business after you've paid the expenses. So don't think that you've achieved success and can drive a Mercedes-Benz. I still drive a pickup, okay?
I'll just say that for me, for my company, it's been an amazing experience. The team has been behind. There are times when I wasn't even up to doing some of the things, and they came and sat in my office and said, Omar, listen, we need you to get this thing done. And they would push me to do it. Today, I'll say historical. This is our first time in history that our company has receivables. Today, I checked it this morning, from 14 different countries owing me money at the end of this month to pay me, to pay my suppliers, where I think at the end of this month, I can probably pay all the suppliers I owe from just a foreign exchange earning. So that is a huge, huge, huge difference than where I was a few years ago. This is an excellent thing that Jampro is doing. I'll say it. You know me, I talk the truth every time I come up on the podiums to speak. And, you know, we need to just get everybody behind this. Our Jamaican people, our staff in our factories, we need to push our exports to get this country going. Thank you.
I am inspired and excited this morning. And I want, on behalf of the entire team, Jampro, JMEA, JBDC, I just want to say thank you all for coming out and hearing this program and participating in this launch. So we're going to take you into the Caribbean, Europe, and the USA to sell your goods and services and to return with those all-important contracts and to deliver on the promise that you would have made to be a champion exporter. I expect this program will be a positive, life-changing experience for you and your businesses. So where do we go from here? The steps are very easy. We are inviting all business owners here to complete the registration expression of interest form. Following the expression of interest, you'll be required to complete a more in-depth application form. The deadline for submission will be January 30, 2019. Final selection of participants will be done by March 15, 2019. And by April, MOUs with all the participants will be signed, and that's when the real work begins. But it will be exciting, it will be fun.
This has been the launch of Export Max 3, and I've been your host, Theodore Henry. Keep watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Do you want to build your company's capacity or export your products or services to new global markets? Then you can be a part of Export Max 3, an enterprise development program for Jamaican companies. Sign up today. Applications close January 31, 2019. Expand your business for export growth. Visit dobusinessjamaica.com for details. Export Max 3. Grow beyond borders. It's brought to you by Jampro, JMEA, and JBDC.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach. Love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
You're watching Business Access TV. Business Access. Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Lexmark Technologies Limited was the major partner at the first AmCham President's Breakfast for 2018, and Business Access TV has the highlights. Stay with us.
Jodel, for persons who may not know much about Lexmark, share with us what you offer.
Okay, great. Well, we're not the old Lexmark where most people knew Lexmark as just being primarily a printer manufacturer. In fact, we're an imaging solution services company that serve customers in 170 countries across the globe. We're a global company, essentially. And as ironic as it may sound, Lexmark has spent probably the last 15 years trying to help customers print less with some of our imaging solutions. And that's mainly because we understand that there's really two major challenges that a lot of customers find is trying to manage between two very connected but different types of information, paper and digital. And our focus is to help when that intersection of paper and digital comes, and how do we help customers manage through that with our solutions and our services.
You're headquartered in USA, Lexington, Kentucky to be exact. How do you see your relationship prospects in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean?
Well, for me, I think it's a great opportunity for us. In fact, I think it's been untapped by an organization like Lexmark. While we're global, we have a primary focus in the U.S., or a strong presence in the U.S., I should say. We've been trying to ramp up our headcount in the Caribbean, and with the Caribbean being an extension of Latin America, we've been able to push resources towards it and understand that there's tons of opportunities. Without speaking on some of the customers we've just recently been able to obtain in the Caribbean, there's quite a few, and we're looking to grow beyond that. And but us being here today is one example of how we're certainly looking to enhance our efforts in the Caribbean.
Allow me to extend a warm Jamaican Bunununos welcome to you this morning. It's going to be great. My name is Nadine McLeod-Dyke. I'm your guide through the program this morning. This is the first AmCham President's Breakfast for 2018. And this breakfast is to showcase the new member, Lexmark, and to welcome them to Jamaica's business sector. We would also like to welcome other new members and not so new members. Welcome. Help us welcome. It is great to be here this morning. It is terrific to see familiar faces and not so familiar faces, new faces. I must say, networking this morning is going to be as stimulating as a nice, well-brewed, freshly brewed cup of Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. And talk about stimulating, we can also talk about effervescent, which leads us to our next speaker, who can be described as effervescent. And she's, of course, the president of AmCham Jamaica, Miss Alison Peart. Help me welcome her.
Friends, thanks again. A brief statement about the breakfast, because one of the things I said when I took over as president was we're going to push networking. It's wonderful to be a member of an organization, but if you don't know each other, you don't know each other's business, you don't talk to each other, then are you really an organization? So this is part of that push. And as a well-known international chamber, we're one of the largest federated business organizations in the world. People think of AmCham as just the US, but we're in over 100 countries that when you're part of AmCham, you can touch, you can feel. Here at AmCham Jamaica, we want our members to know about us, know about the world, know about the US, have great connections. So, if you're an AmCham member, a President's Breakfast is available for you to come, host, and promote and market yourself. Now, we are pleased to see that Lexmark, one of our newest members, I love members, we want you to get to know the services of our members. So Lexmark is not just a printing company. I hear they're in everything, you know. People think I'm an accountant, but I keep saying I did a chemistry degree. Nowadays, you must do everything. So I'm sure they're gonna come and tell us about everything that they do. And our President Breakfast, we add value because we not only give you networking, but you get to learn about the wonderful products and the wonderful things that our AmCham members are doing.
Economic growth in Jamaica over the last 10 years, we'd say, has demonstrated periods of growth, but interspersed with instances of decline, typically caused by external shocks. And so we are very vulnerable, we're very susceptible to climate impact. And so a lot of our focus now, and rightly so, and I think heightened by the experiences of the last year in the region, is on building climate resilience for the economy. It's not enough that we can forecast a certain growth level for agriculture and for mining and quarrying, and then you have an episode of adverse weather and you have to revise downward. And we want to see, how do we insulate, how do we build, how do we mitigate against these climate impacts. And so the government of Jamaica embarked, started in 2010, on a number of initiatives and reforms supported by the IMF. In 2010, we have the standby arrangement. 2013, we had the extended fund facility of the IMF, the EFF. And then in late 2016, we have what we have here now, the precautionary standby arrangement, the PSBA. And really, it's the government's medium-term economic program supported by the multilaterals. So largely think of the IMF, but robust support comes from the World Bank, from the Inter-American Development Bank, from the Caribbean Development Bank, from the EU, quite a bit of multilateral and bilateral support. Jamaica enjoys very good relations with quite a few of our international development partners, and that's significant. Another significant feature is in the context of this reform program, that in all the initiatives that have been undertaken, we've seen what we call political continuity, that even as administrations change, there's general consensus and ownership and buy-in about the program and the tenets of the program. We agree as to what needs to be done in terms of trying to right-size the Jamaican economy to experience and to create conditions of greater economic growth and job creation, because you can have a period of jobless growth, as you saw, as economies emerged out of the 2008 crisis, the global financial crisis. You saw economies, the US in particular, growing, but no jobs were being created. And there was some concern there. And then another concern, you have to look at the issue of inequality, that as economies are growing, you can find widening disparities in income levels, the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer. And you know, that's not sustainable, that's not tenable. And so we speak of inclusive growth and job creation to try to mitigate and have this balanced growth phenomenon. With all the activity that you're seeing, how come the growth numbers are not more robust? And we said the activities that you're seeing are genuine and they are real activities, and a lot of this is happening in the real sector, in the formal sector, as against in the informal sector. Yes, we are attended by a significant level of informality in the Jamaican economy. Some years ago, they estimated some 40% of GDP is informal sector. But when you say informality, it's not all illegal activities. You can have genuine activities taking place, but people want to remain below the radar. And so we have to create conditions to induce formality. And that's why a grouping such as this and seeing a number of business persons coming together and people who are looking at opportunities, creating employment, very encouraging. And so you see genuine activity taking place. Part of the challenge is a lot of the activity, particularly the construction you're seeing, a lot of the construction, there is a high leakage content to a lot of what's happening, that a lot of the material that's being employed and so are coming in from abroad. There's a lot of imports. So you see the imports numbers going up even while you see the activity going on. But no doubt it's very encouraging for the types of activities that we are seeing, and it should promise increased growth. And so while you see some of the Asian tigers, in terms of the Singapores and the Koreas, as they began to experience the growth over the 80s and 90s, it took some time for that to be entrenched. We are undertaking and have undertaken quite a bit of reform, and it will take some time for that to begin to take root. A lot of the construction you're seeing, from road construction to residential and non-residential construction, as those are completed, you should see a reduction reduction in transaction costs, as it's easier to conduct and transact business, easier to get from point A to point B. Labor supply is closer to where production is taking place because of the types of residential and non-residential construction. As you see the construction in hotel room capacity, there's a time 10 years ago that if you had a double and tripling of tourism demand, it wouldn't benefit us much. We could only increase prices because we had a limited stock of rooms. But now you're seeing the type of expansion that increases the capacity of the economy. As you increase room stock, as you bring in more flights and increase flight frequency and increase air seat capacity, those are the things that all go well for an economy. As you begin to convert idle factory space and you're creating spaces for BPOs and other investors, and you're creating lands and converting lands to productive uses, those are the types of reforms that increase the capacity of the economy. And those are the things that all go well for the types of sustainable growth we want. So the current year, fiscal year 17-18 that just ended, and so for our new investors, we run the April to March fiscal year cycle. And so for March 2018 that just ended, that was the fiscal year 17-18. And so let's look at some of the numbers. We expect the Jamaican economy to grow by some 0.9%. And this would be the 5th consecutive year of fiscal year growth in terms of growing over 5 years. And that's significant for us. Again, the numbers, we want them to be higher, more robust in terms of larger numbers of growth. But it's still significant that we are seeing, consecutive growth. And we're expecting that to be entrenched, meaning we expect that to continue and to increase. And we're going to speak to what we call the upside potential for higher growth levels, and as well as the downside risk. What are those factors that can cause them to not materialize? But we expect for 0.9% for the April to March 17-18 fiscal year. It reflects an estimated expansion in both the goods producing and services industries. The growth outturn is predicated on the combined effect of actual GDP growth for the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year, April to June 2017. You had a decline in the economy, largely because of some significant rains we had. March, April, May, June, 4 months of rain. And let me say it for our visitors in particular, 4 months of rain that caused 4 billion damage, Jamaican dollars. That's 0.2% of our 2016 GDP. We do the damage and loss assessments, and the numbers came, and that's just from 4 months of rain. The flooding and the infrastructure damage, and the images are stark. And so it's not just damage in the agricultural sector, agriculture, forestry, and fishing, but also mining and quarrying, and a lot of factory downtime. So even while they were trying to build capacity, putting in new broilers, and trying to expand, as the heavy rains came, it caused a lot of downtime. And so we are very susceptible, and it's a concern, and obviously on the radar for us as policymakers. And so for April to June 2017, we had a decline of 0.1% in real GDP. July to September 2017, we had 0.8% growth. And for October to December 2017, we had 1.1% growth. And then for January to March, we're going to go to the country later this month to give our typical update. What we do, 6 weeks after the quarter ends, we will update and give our assessment. And as PIOJ, the Planning Institute, and then Statin, after 3 months, a quarter after the quarter that has ended, they will give the actual outturn. And so while we predicted for December 1.1% forecasted, the actual growth was 1.1%. And so we take it, a very robust team at the PIOJ, and we as these things go, you have a band of, 0.5% or 2% band that you may be off, and that's considered best practice. That's very good if you are that, but we are fairly well within that in terms of accuracy of forecast. So we will go to the country later and give an estimate. Some data is still coming in, but at this point we're looking at likely maybe a 1.7% for the January to March quarter 2018. And so combined, we're expecting at about a 0.9% for the fiscal year. The growth largely reflects improved outturn in the key macroeconomic variables, higher levels of employment, and an uptick in industrial production. We follow the industrial production index, and yes, what you are seeing is real. Production is increasing, and that's very encouraging. We are seeing increased real sector performance, boosted mainly by the reopening of the Alpart alumina refinery, plant expansion and increased capacity utilization. So they're building out capacity and using up more of what is there. We have seen strong growth in tourism arrivals. And as we've said, it's, it was hit, the overall numbers by the heavy rainfall we had over the last year. We had a drought period just before the heavy rainfall. So the vagaries of climate continue to impact us. And it particularly affected agriculture, forestry and fishing, and the mining and quarrying, and the electricity and water supply industries.
Hi, my name is Jodell Felix. I'm a strategic segment consultant with Lexmark International, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Taking the pain out of the audit preparation. Crow Jamaica now offers audit management services, AMS. With AMS, Crow team manages your external audit process by providing the following. 1. Prepare and review schedules for your external auditors. 2. Prepare responses to your external audit team queries. 3. Assign our team members to locate supporting documents during field work. 4. Draft financial statements in accordance with IFRS to supply to your external auditors. 5. Provide guidance to your internal accounting staff regarding classification and recording of transactions. 6. Review your general ledger for accuracy. 7. Prepare necessary journal entries. 8. Prepare fixed asset register. 9. Prepare accounting and operational manual for effective internal control. 10. Liaise with the company external auditors. We work with your team to achieve timely and effective external audits, resulting in timely completion of your audited financial statement, while your current staff focuses on their daily activities. Contact us, info@crowhorwath.com.jm. Website, www.crow.com/jm.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Lexmark provides imaging solutions and services to help customers like you to print, to protect, and to manage your output environment, not just the printer manufacturer. So that's why I want to make sure I mention that. But what truly separates Lexmark from the rest of the industry, from our whole competitive landscape in terms of print, is our industry expertise, is who we serve. So we have hired for many years, we have 25 years of experience in understanding the trends, the challenges that come in some of the various vertical industries we serve. So what's traditionally known in the print industry is that you think of brands like Hewlett-Packard, where Lexmark may not necessarily have the brand recognition as you will find with some of the other competitors. But what we've done is that we have serviced some of the top customers in the various industries. And what I mean by that is, for example, 9 out of the top 10 global banks are all Lexmark customers. 85% of the top retailers in the world globally are Lexmark customers. 48 of the top 50 pharmacies are Lexmark customers. You know, it's funny because Rebecca and I had an engagement with a customer in the US once, and we sat down with this customer. And I made some observations as far as what they were doing, and I said to myself, He's like, I don't know much about Lexmark. So my question is, sir, I'm going to make the assumption that you own a television in your house. He said, yes. I said, okay, where'd you buy the television? His response was Best Buy. Next question, I said, so I assume at some point, whether it's with yourself or your family, you had to purchase some medications. Where'd you go get the medication? He said, CVS Pharmacy. I said, okay. I took it a step further. I then asked, do you have children? Yes. Where do they attend school? They attend school at Miami-Dade County Schools. Excellent. And then my final question for him, I then go, so with your home, I assume that you have home improvement projects and things of that nature. He said, yes. I said, so where do you buy your home improvement products? He goes, Home Depot. My response is, those are all Lexmark customers, every single one of them. And that kind of painted a bigger picture in terms of us not just being a printer manufacturer, but going far beyond just print. So we may not have the highest market share. We certainly have the top customers in some of the various industries that some of you serve today, which is banking, retail, finance, et cetera. So before we make some of these dynamic imaging solutions and services, it's important that we understand what our customers do. I mentioned before that we have industry consultants in some of the various vertical industries. And what we're hearing when we speak to customers like you is that there are a lot of challenges stemming from the very difficult task of having to manage two very different but very connected types of information, and that's digital and paper. I think we can all agree. And there are going to be tons of printed information, whether it's invoices, whether it's in banking, if you have a prospectus or a loan application or whatever the situation may be, you're still going to have tons of paper information. We understand paper is quite intensive. We understand that many customers still use a lot of paper. And we also understand that it's kind of hard to completely escape from paper. And then you look at the other side of this digital process, and you have things that are electronic, digital files, like an ERP file, like an email. But in the real world, what really happens is they intersect. And it is at this intersection is where you have some of the greatest challenges and the greatest potentials for risk, for data breaches, and all kinds of concerns. And this is where Lexmark thrives. And this is where we can certainly serve our customers and helping our customers manage this intersection of print versus digital. And this is what's happening today.
What was your goal for this morning's breakfast, and was that goal achieved? The goal was to bring information to our members. So we started out with the PIOJ because people hear about growth and we wanted them to understand what was happening in the Jamaican market. A great way to start your morning off to understand how is our employment going? What growth do we expect? What industries should we be investing in? And so I think that was, Dr. Henry did a really good job of that. With Lexmark, we weren't sure if they're just printers because, I know of Lexmark as, a printing. I didn't know that they did so many things, that they did business solutions around, should you have two printers? Should you have one printer? I travel and I'm always walking with paper. So the point of putting things in a cloud, and you've heard of the cloud, but what does it really mean? So for me, it accomplished a lot because it gave me more information about Lexmark. What do they do? What can they do for us? So for me, that was accomplished.
We're also almost at the middle of the year 2018. What's next for AmCham?
We have a lot more things. We have a data protection seminar coming up. We're also open to more President's Breakfast. We want our members to come and showcase their products. We also, in June, the American Chamber will be coming to Jamaica. So we're hosting a pretty big event in June where our compatriots are bringing State Department people here to Jamaica. We are also looking to our members for more opportunities to do more for them because we're a member of our organization and we're not here to dictate to our members. We want them to tell us. So we've got our ears open. We have a meeting coming up with our members to hear from them. What are the other things you want us to do? So we have a lot more coming. I want to do more membership mingles as well.
That's it from us here. Until next time, do stay tuned to Business Access TV, serious about business.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Hi, I'm Chef Shay Stewart, and I'm the chef and owner of Elite Creations, a catering company in Jamaica. I started this company essentially after not really enjoying working for people and wanted to, pursue my own goals in the culinary field. I thought I had a lot to offer. I thought I was very, new, exciting. I had a lot of creative ideas, and I felt compelled to really jump off in the water to see if I would swim or, drown, as they say.
This is where the madness happens. This is the kitchen at Ibex Global. This is where we 700 meals a day.
Elite Creations is a catering company. We do food catering. We also do bar services. And it came about essentially, I have a few family members and that put on events, namely a Philip Palmer who, back then he did a party named Osmosis. And I thought that I could come on board and do some food for the VIP area that he had. And I don't know, I guess it's just one of those traits of an entrepreneur when they feel compelled to do something. And, I just went for it, and I guess the rest is history, as I say. Recently, we've expanded into doing like rentals of furniture, bistro tables. So ultimately my goal for Elite Creations is to be a multifaceted company where it's basically a one-stop shop for an event that you want to do. So we could bring in lighting, stage, trussing, TV screens, all the elements that come together to make one event. I cater to foodies, I cater to people that want to eat the best food, So from secular events as like I did Sunrise Breakfast Party, I've done the whole Dream Weekend thing in the past, to corporate events such as Sagicor staff parties, Digicel, NCB, Scotiabank. I've done a dinner for people that want to propose to their loved ones. So the list isn't really subjected to any one person. I've been on my own for probably about 6 years. I left my previous job. I was with Max Chop House. I've done stints on the hotel on the North Coast. I've been at Cafe Aubergine. And as I said, it's just the feeling of pursuing your own goals, of having growth and being accomplished, self-actualization. And one of the primary objectives I feel in my life is to be my own business owner. This is my staff, Biggs, we have O'Shane. At Countryside, we have a kitchen that we currently run a canteen where we feed approximately 700 meals a day, Sunday to Sunday. I also can operate a mobile kitchen to feed up to 2,000 people. So between the two, we kind of bounce around depending on the event, depending on the style of the execution. Also depending on the client's requests, we kind of, jump around and do what we have to do. This was currently my restaurant, Shay's at Countryside. Subsequently, the property has become into an international call center where, I'm operating a canteen now where I said I feed over 700 people a day. So it kind of fell in my lap. It's a very convenient location. It's in the heart of Harford-Tree, and it has helped in my growth, being an entrepreneur, you get to understand the importance of having cash flow and stuff like that. So, I currently employ over 25 people. So, I think I'm on my way to not only competing and having my own goals, but I think I'm contributing more to Jamaica. Well, funding for me was basically a step-by-step growth of me taking my time and taking one step at a time to basically build myself. I haven't really gotten any funding from any outside persons, so everything I have is basically what I've done thus far in building a solid foundation to kind of grow step by step. The money was initially used to buy the essential equipment that I would need at any given time. So what my philosophy is, for every event that I do, I can at least buy one piece of equipment, for me to move on and further expand what I have. So whether it's a spoon to a convection oven to a fryer to having a truck to move around, everything has its place, everything has its importance to, growing your business. Profitability is definitely there. With every business, I've experienced ups and downs. I think my first reason of being in this business is the love and the passion. I mean, a lot of the times, you feel to give up because you feel like the amount of work that you put in, you're not making enough money. But I really love and enjoy what I do. I'm very passionate about it, and my philosophy is put in the good work and the love, and the money would always come. You know what I mean? So I've been very blessed. I've been on my own for 6 years, and in a very tight economy, a very competitive economy, but I've still been able to keep my head above water. So I give thanks for that. I would love to think that my staff, love to work with me and think I'm a good boss. But I think how my rapport with my staff, it's very family. They're my family, and I view them as a family. As a chef, I'm not gonna say that I'm not very miserable, I'm cranky. But they understand it's the job. I just want the job to be done, and I can be very, as I said, very cranky, very edgy, but I have a good relationship with my family. Everybody plays a role, and I think they appreciate what I've done for them, because I definitely show them their appreciation, because without a solid team, you can't reach anywhere. So my staff is the most important asset to my business. From one person working with me, bringing in somebody else, I've looked at places like Hart, because I'm a Hart graduate also. I looked at places like, UTech. I use a lot of UTech people. And it's just working and having people come in and out, and just who I connect with is who I tend to keep around. I go with a vibe and an energy and see how eager they are to learn. If they're not eager to learn, then I'm not interested, because they also have to have their need for growth, and that is important to me. I think the culture is very, as I said, family oriented. It's very, it's a big emphasis on teamwork. And I think we're all hard workers. As I said, I try to, employ people that have their own ambitions. I have to remember that I started working with someone too, and I was very fortunate that none of them tried to hold me back. Ask any chef out there, the hours of work is long, 16 hours, 18, easily. If I have an event, I'll go days without sleep. Like literally last weekend with whole big wall and breakfast party. I did something for Panjam, and it was back to back to back, including having the canteen. It can be very, very, very tedious. I'll go Smyrna Dream Weekend, Appleton Dream Weekend, the whole weekend, 2 parties a day. It's very tolling on the body, but then you have to remember that you have to find that time to take care of yourself also. So that's really very important. So my average day is a long day of work. Being an entrepreneur has, really affected, finding time for yourself, and even for your family. It's been very difficult, but you really have to try and find that time, and you have to, I've been fortunate, again, that my family really supports what I do, they're fully behind me. I feel sometimes like they're there just to help me, So, you just have to touch and go and find what works for you. Take a little time, do a little gym exercise, make sure you eat breakfast in the morning, make sure if you have a child that those little time, those little moments, make sure that they count, and if you have a significant other, you just have to have a balance and have a routine for each other to kind of know that, okay, when all is said and done, at the end of the day, we can enjoy ourselves. right, so this is where we serve our packaged lunches to the call center agents. So today we're doing like, you know, traditional Jamaican food, roast chicken, stew peas, fried chicken. The challenges that I've faced primarily has to do with, you know, the economy really and how much business that I'm able to acquire. We also do sandwiches and fries and stuff and deli items for, you know, those who are on a break and they don't want the heavy lunch. My challenges are really tied with how much I feel that I need to grow, basically. So, you know, if I don't feel that I'm growing as much as I think I should be, you know, my aspirations and my goals, if they're not being accomplished on my timeline, I kind of beat myself up sometimes. But, you know, you just have to push on through and really have a tunnel vision. I tell everybody that, yes, I know I have competition, but not to say that I don't worry about them, but my core thing is to just do what I am set out to do, you know, and I think everything else will fall in place. Being new in the industry is also a challenge sometimes. People don't have the confidence to really say, okay, can Shay do this? I remember even my own cousin was like, asked me repeatedly, Shay, you sure you can manage it, Shay? And I had to prove myself. A lot of young entrepreneurs, a lot of people in the workforce that are just that, you know, will definitely have those challenges. And, you know, you just have to make sure that every time you do it to the best of your ability. You know, the worst opportunity could be your last opportunity. You know, I cannot, as a chef, lapse any at all. If I have one event and somebody's sick, you know, that could be my last, you know, so every opportunity has to be treated as the last opportunity, so you have to do it to the best of your ability. But preventing mistakes, I think one step ahead. Before an event, I think of everything that can go wrong and I think of a solution, even before it goes wrong. So I know that when it goes wrong, I have a solution for it, and I'm very keen to knowing that, okay, something may go wrong. I'm never take things for granted. And another thing that is very important in managing mistakes is allocating a lot of time. You know, so, you know, as I say, what can go wrong will go wrong. So if I need to be somewhere logistically an hour before, I go 2.5 hours before, because I know that time will help me overcome any mistake that I may buck up on. Failures has definitely been an enemy of mine. I mean, I think any business person has to go through a certain amount of failures to be successful. It is very crucial because it's a learning experience. And and it goes back to what I said about time. That was a big learning experience for me, where I had an event in country and I was doing breakfast, lunch and dinner for this family fun. It was a business fun day, and you know, I did not allocate enough time, and you know, I reached late, start off bad, and it was just like a snowball from there. And that has taught me that I have to not take time for granted, and it's very important not to take time for granted. New ideas generally come to me. Sometimes I just find some time for myself and I just think and I just wonder, and it's like they're just sent to me. I mean, I think that's one of my, I guess, talents, that I'm always thinking of something new, something exciting, something different that I can do to kind of keep myself relevant, you know, because that's very, very important in this industry with so many competition. Always trying to reinvent yourself, always try to do something new, always try to keep a fresh perspective and keep that passion alive is very important. Building a successful customer base is very, very important for my industry. Having repeat clientele is also, you know, very, very important. You know, it's very important for you to do the job good or do the job right, because that's how you build your customer base. You want them to always believe in you. you want them to feel that, okay, I hired Shay, so I don't need to worry about that. You know, the job is done. And that is because, you know, I take my job seriously. So I make no mistakes, or if I do make no mistakes, my client doesn't know about it because I know the next best thing to kind of overcome that mistake. So, you know, having your client believe in you and know that if they hire you, the job is done, and the job is done better than anybody they think they can do, is very important in, you know, building a successful client base. Growth strategies has definitely been on my mind, and that's one of the reasons why I've taken a step to become multifaceted, not only rely on my culinary abilities, but also see, you know, what aspects of the different events that I may come and cater to, what can I bring to the table also. So, you know, being able to, I can do the food, but yeah, let me do your bar too. You know, I can do your bar, but let me rent you the glasses. You know, I can rent you the glasses, but how about some lighting? So stuff like that. Being multifaceted is definitely a very important thing for me, and having something tangible, you know, like, as opposed to not making my company rely solely on my talents, you know, having something that I can offer other than my cooking, you know, expertise, or even me, you know, have someone being able to execute something for me, which is where I'm kind of transitioning to become now. Marketing my business, you know, I have a publicist, you know, Joni. She really helps me. I definitely come up with the ideas and have someone try to execute it for me. You know, what I try to focus on is being a chef, you know, and because that's my strength. So marketing my business is, you know, I have a team of people that try and market me, whether it's entering a competition or, you know, an expo, or, you know, the whole social media aspect, you know, having a fan page on Facebook, you know, doing advertisement, making appearances. It's a very competitive market, so there are many ways that you can market yourself, and, you know, we try to dabble in everything. You know, even being on the show is an act of marketing, you know, so thank you guys for approaching me and thing, yeah. So, you know, you have to be on your toe points, and you have to always push yourself out there and make sure you're being seen, you know, and that's very important. I wouldn't say I'm willing to do anything to be successful, but I know I'll work as hard as I can, you know, in terms of not overexerting myself in terms of work. I think there's no limit to that. And I have to be very careful because, I mean, you know, sometimes the long hours, you know, it takes a toll on your health and stuff like that. And I know any chef can agree that they have the worst diet in the world. They don't eat properly, they don't sleep properly. I mean, being a chef is a really hard job. You're in hot and cold. And I think we do things that the normal person wouldn't probably think that we do, but it's a part of the job, and you have to live with it. And we work where people play, you understand? So I think I've done a lot, you know, to say that, you know, maybe the average person wouldn't do to try and reach where I am. I don't think there's one pattern or one formula, but I think you may have your own formula, you know, what works for you. I don't think what works for me works for someone else. I think I have my own pattern, I have my own formula. My own is hard work and dedication and passion. That's my formula. Everything is led with passion. It's not essentially about the money, the success, the fame, but with my hard work, passion, you know, the money, the success, and fame will come. And I think that's my formula, you know what I mean? So that's what I live by, that's what I rule by, hence my mantra is food is love. My goal is my goal, you know what I mean? Achieving my goals, you know, living my dream, you know. One of my benchmarks for success is making my mother proud, you know, and, you know, I'd hope to do that, you know. So when I can say to my mother, you know, don't work, you know, that's success for me. My greatest fear is overall failure. You know, whatever, I mean, you know, just not reaching. You will fail along the way, but the overall failure of not reaching your accomplishments is my greatest fear. And I overcome that by keep on pushing, never giving up, always believing, because you have to believe to achieve. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, then the vision is blurry. You know, and have your vision, know your goals, and always work hard for it. And you know, don't tell anybody that you can't. Don't watch somebody else and say how them reach this and you not reach this. So it's just you. You know, you have to do what you have to do.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Motivation comes from wanting to have a solid future. Motivation comes from wanting to stop working hard and enjoying your future. You know, motivation comes from, you know, wanting to set a solid foundation for my son. You know, motivation comes from, you know, wanting to make my family proud. You know, motivation comes from being happy. So, yeah, I find my motivation all around me. Motivation comes from wanting to make your country better, you know. Like one of the things that I hate to do is drive on the road and see somebody begging. Like, I hate that. Like, why? You know what I mean? So, if I can help somebody because of my success, that's a part of my motivation. My greatest inspiration, you know, is obvious, is my mother. I mean, you know, I love her to death. She has really, I mean, I've never, and it might sound cliche, but I've never seen anybody that's so supportive. You know, my mother has supported me. You know, she suggested that I should go to Heart Runaway Bay and become a chef. You know, when I did an associate's degree and I couldn't find a job, and you know, I mean, nothing bothers her. You know, she's behind me 100%. You know, she corrects me when she knows I'm doing stupidity. You know, she guides me. You know, she's a friend. You know what I mean? So my mother is my main source of happiness. You know, I really love my mother. My favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur is not having the limitations. You know, being able to express yourself, being able to do what you want to do or do what you need to do to achieve certain things. You know, setting your own goals, employing people, helping people. You know, that's what I love about being an entrepreneur. Some people think that, okay, you know, you can set your own time and you can go on vacation when you want, but I think it's even harder. I think being an entrepreneur is harder than working for someone when you have a set pay and you know how things going to run and you can schedule. And, you know, being an entrepreneur, you have to be on your toes. You have to expect the unexpected, you know, and I live for that. Some of my successes, I attribute it to, you know, again, the hard work and dedication, my support base, my family, my staff. You know, I have a great team behind me. Yeah, so something as simple as having, you know, the contract to be a concession for the call center, having my, you know, my food event called Bachelor Chef. I don't think I'm satisfied. You know, I want more. I've never reached my goal. My goal is, you know, to be bigger than I am today. You know, so it's a continual growth. So satisfaction hasn't been reached as yet. You know, I want more, as I said. But I give thanks, you know, and I appreciate where I am today. I know it's a lot of hard work, and I know that I have a foundation, you know, and that's what is important to me. So I know at the end of the day, I always have something, and I have a goal, and I have a talent that I can rely on. My hobbies is a football, man. You know, I love to play football with my friends. You know, I try to do that at least twice a week. You know, just chilling. You know, spending time with my son, with my family. You know, I need to have more hobbies, I think, because I need to find more time for myself. But you know, I have a few hobbies. I like to play dominoes. I like to go out. I actually like to go to parties because I'm normally working at parties. So yeah, that's some of my hobbies. I think my life is so entwined and tied to my career that I think everything positive with my career is happiness for me. So for right now, it's my goals, you know what I mean? It's ambition, it's reaching where I want to be, and that brings happiness to me. You know, when my son smiles, to happiness. When my mom's happy, happiness. You know, my family's happiness, you know. So the ultimate happiness is when I see what all my hard work has paid off to be. A lot of sacrifices have been made. I mean, you know, as simple as not being able to spend as much time as I want with my family, with my friends also, you know. I mean, at one point I started when I was 19, you know, so, you know, when my friends would go out and enjoy it, I had to be working because I know where I wanted to be. You know, as I said, you know, I've had in the past where, you know, family members would pass and I can't go to a funeral, or I can't go to my brethren's wedding, or, you know, I can't even vacation. I have a sister that lives in New York and I would go every year, you know. All of that has been omitted out of my life, you know, because of my career. But, you know, I love what I do, so I think the sacrifices were well deserved, and I know I'm doing it now that I can enjoy my life later. Future plans for my company, as I said before, I think sky's the limit. I want to, you know, go into more things. I'm really passionate now about, you know, the whole rental business. You know, a lot of events need, you know, different furnitures, you know, the whole screens and stuff. I also have a musical background. My father is a producer and a sound engineer, so, you know, I've been dabbling in a little music, artist management, stuff like that. I have a passion for music. I think it's in my blood also, and I think there is a stark, well, not a stark, but there's a great comparison with music and food. You know, you have different instruments that come together to make one sound. You have different ingredients in a pot that come together to make one dish. You know, you kind of have to balance all the different ingredients. So I have a real passion for music now too, and I think someday I would want to, you know, express that passion, you know, and when I'm allowed to, because as I said before, becoming multifaceted and having a tangible product as opposed to just my product, I'll be able to express myself in other mediums. My advice for young people wanting to come into my industry or the culinary industry, whether as a chef, pastry chef, food and beverage management, is to really, you know, have a goal and stay focused, be committed, be prepared to put in a lot of hard work and dedication. But one of the most important things is to be eager to want to learn, you know. Don't be closed-minded, you know. There's always somebody out there that can teach you something, and you have to be willing to make those sacrifices. But just be dedicated and committed to what you want to do, and never give up, and never let anyone tell you that you can't do something, you know what I mean? And find that inspiration in something. Find a role model, you know, look up to someone and have a direct path with someone that you want to be like. There's nothing wrong with wanting to emulate somebody. You can emulate them and then put your own feeling and twist to it.
This week on Home Sweet Home, we take a look at a development that is said to be an example of mindsets coming together to appease the demand for affordable but upmarket housing solutions in our urban centres. Stay with us. Now, before the building of a development commences, there is usually a conceptualization phase that usually involves architects. Now, I'm sitting here with Hugo Matthews, who's going to tell me about this phase as it relates to, of course, your development. So, firstly, before we get there, though, tell me about your company.
Okay, my name is Hugo Matthews. I am 50% of our company. The second half is Mr. Ewan Darling. We actually went to school together, and we always dreamed of having our own firm. And you know, we worked many places. We worked about maybe 4 different companies together, and we finally formed Virtuoso Architect. The word virtuoso means highly skilled artist, and that's what we think of ourselves as highly skilled artists. And we're learning every day, and we try to keep ourselves current in the market. I mean, the only way to be good in this business is to be great, and that's what we're trying to do.
Love that. So tell me a little about the architecture industry. What's that like?
Well, architecture industry is very interesting. The industry in Jamaica is actually very small, and the important thing to know about it is a lot of persons have a misconception about architects and architecture. They believe that all architects do is produce pretty drawings, but that's maybe 10% of what we actually do. You really have to have excellent technical competence because you're talking about millions of dollars being invested in a particular project. We have to be cognizant of every single thing that goes into a project. We have to know the inners of the building, the inner workings of it, what is comfortable, you know, what's a comfortable environment, how air passes through the building, how the building responds to climatic conditions, you know, if it's hot outside, if it's cold outside. We need to know and have a good idea of what services will be running through the building, and when we have a good grasp of all of those things, you know, we can actually design a proper structure. And also, you know, just be in awe of what your dream actually looks like, because we don't want to give somebody their dream. We want to give them something that they never dreamed of, and we always strive for that.
So talk to us about this new chic way of living in Kingston that you're currently working on.
First, let me start by, we're currently working on it, but it started many moons ago. Right. And it's a push not only by us at Virtuoso, but it's a push. It has been a push by many architects. What you have to think about is cities around the world. We're not just thinking about Jamaica in a little envelope or in a little box. We have to think about Jamaica as a global entity. And we have to look at what the future is doing, what are the new trends. And we don't want to look at it in any kind of isolation, because it's not everything that New York can do, we can do. Right. So we have to look at it and understand what is happening. The thing is, the constant thing is, urbanization is a real thing. Persons have been moving into urban areas, into Kingston, into cities, and they're living closer and closer together. What happens when that occurs is you have less space to develop. So we have to find ways of developing our sites to meet the needs of the persons who are coming in, the young professional. And you know, even though this new chic way for argument's sake is new, it actually isn't. What we're doing is we're looking at the past, we're looking at things that were done on a smaller scale, and we're bringing it into the modern era, and we're doing it in a big way. So what we're looking at is we're looking at vertical living. We're looking at increasing the density, and this is a push not only by architects but also the agencies. NEPA, they're pushing higher densities in Kingston, and we certainly welcome that. We have the technology to treat with it. One of the greatest things that hindered the original push is we didn't have the technology to deal with a certain quantity of persons living on a small site. Now we have the technology, we know how to do it. And what we want to do is we want to keep persons in the urban areas. The concept is if you live close to where you work, you will save on energy. And this new chic way of living is one. We want to give you wonderful housing. We want to give you wonderful housing, not just at level, but maybe 10 stories in the air. We want to give you maximum views. We want to give you a view of the hills in your kitchen. And when you walk to your bedroom, you have a view of the sea. You know, we want you to go downstairs and you're all of a sudden in an area of shopping. We want you to be able to meet with your friends all in a small area and certainly be able to network. So this new way is actually an old way that we're developing and building on in a more modern and bold way. Twenty South is maybe the first of its kind in Kingston. It's 10 stories high. It has over 75 units, 80 units to be exact. And it's, you know, on a small plot of land right in the middle of the Mecca almost. We're talking about, there are stones throw away from Half a Tree, a stones throw away from just running up to Devon House. We are right in the middle of it all. We're talking about you're close to transportation, you're close to New Kingston, you're close to Half a Tree, shopping areas. So the site itself, it certainly presents itself as part of this new chic way of living, where you don't have to drive all the way to the suburbs. You know, you're in the mix, and that's the type of lifestyle that we want to promote. We think it's the way forward. We think it's the way to go. We'll lose billions and billions of dollars in loss of energy, in just being stuck in traffic. Something like this, if we have more of them popping up, you know, tall cities as they call them in other countries, this is an energy efficient way of living.
How do you strike a balance between what a client wants and what, in your professional opinion, is what's best for them?
Well, you know, that's an interesting one. Sometimes you have to fight. You know, sometimes you really have to fight. For the most part, we really try to give the client what they want. You know, we're not trying to take them on some sort of tangent that they didn't really want to do. I speak about giving them something that they never dreamed of, but really what it is we're taking the client's dream and we're elevating it. So we always want to give the client, you know, what they came to us for. You know, if they want 3 beds, we don't want to give them 10. If they want 3, we give them 3. The thing is, a client might ask for something that is, they want a castle in the sky.
Unrealistic.
Unrealistic. Only if it's so unrealistic that we will, you know, we will say no, we don't think that should happen. Or if there are certain constraints. Budget is often a constraint. And if we see a client going in a direction that we know the budget won't take them, we will certainly advise against it and will advise strongly against it. There are times when a client might want to do something in contravention to the standard practice. Let me give you a prime example. We always recommend using engineers. I mean, you can't design something, you can't be putting so much investment in a project. You know, $30 million in a project is not peanuts, I would like to think. And we prefer, as architects, to introduce the proper personnel on the project. And, you know, a client might want to not go that route. They might not want to hire a cost controller. We will always advise for them to do so. We might get some pushback, but again, at the end of the day, the client is who signs the agreement with the different persons, and you know, the only thing we can do is advise if we know it's the right way, if we know that's the way it's supposed to be done.
We take our first break here on Home Sweet Home. More when we return.
It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home.
So Sekou, this is now your baby, right?
Yes, yes, indeed.
So I wanted to tell me about the project and its amenities, the building. Tell me how it goes.
All right, because of the size of the site, it's not too big a land.
Right.
We had to put all the amenities what were usually in projects on the ground floor into the building. So we moved the pool, for instance, to the 6th floor, and also added an atrium to the 5th floor. So we're moving integrated nature into the building all through. So from the 5th floor atrium to the 6th floor pool to the green roof where you have a jogging track. The occupants of the building have a wide range of activities to enjoy. Because of the size of the site as well, we had to make sure that enough parking is there for all the units. So we created a basement layer where we can have adequate, at least minimum 2 per unit. There are 80 units in the scheme. And because of that, as I said, where the amenities are inside of the building, the pool on the 6th floor and the atrium, we also have a gym. So you can have exercise not only on the roof, but on that same 6th floor, as well as a convenience store if you don't want to run to the city. So it's an integrated building, one homogeneous system.
This building sounds like it's perfect for me because, well, aside from the fact that I'm integrating in nature, because I don't like lizards. I feel like every time I hear nature, I think insects and...
You can go to the 4th floor. The atrium is not on the 4th floor.
Okay, all right. So I need a floor
perfect for you.
Okay, that sounds good. How much of the design was yours and how much of it was the client's? Because I know they would bring their ideas to you and then you guys would do the design. So how does that work?
As Hugo said, there is a dialogue between us and the client. The client gives us the initial pitch and brief on what he wants in the project. For instance, he wanted a jogging trail on the roof.
Right.
So we accommodated the jogging trail on the roof. But we said, why not make it a luxurious experience and push the pool to the roof? So we came up with the amenities what are inside of the building and tying it back to what he initially wanted with the jogging trail, as well as his idea of a green living space, an all-in-one building. So it's a holistic design. When you say this building is chic, we also want to ease of access into the units, of course. So we have 2 elevators on the flanks of the building, so you can move from the basement where you parked straight to your unit. These are smart elevators, so you have a key, and you swipe the key and you will know which floor you're going to.
Oh, nice.
And you can probably stop at the 6th floor. The pool, as I said before, is an infinity edge pool, so you can just look off into the distance, see Kingston Harbour, and you want. As well as we try to be energy efficient, so we have solar on the roof, as well as energy efficient utilities like the toilets and lights.
Oh, nice.
The project, as Hugo said, went through different design development stages. This is like the third version of the building that we have, based on what the client requested as well as what the agencies were wanted. So there are about 60 pages, 70 pages in the architectural set alone. They also have the engineering set as well as the mechanical set, which have their own equally weighty drawings. So we finish our drawings first, and basically from there they take their drawings and generate their...
So about how long does it take for you to produce this? I know there were several versions before it.
As I said, there are many stages, but the design development stage where we produce the drawings would generally take a month to fully flesh out the building, which goes from plans to the sections of the building, to the elevations and the details of the building, the bathrooms layout, the kitchen layout, the bedroom layout. It's a lot of drawings. There are about 60 drawings in this set alone, and you have to generate the windows and everything. Everything. All details.
Sekou, thank you very much for sharing the technical aspects of the building with us. And now I will join Hugo at 20 South.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home. Now, if you're just joining us, we're looking at the blueprint for a new development, 20 South. Now, we've just arrived on site and we're going to be doing a short tour with Hugo Matthews, but the project is still in its baby stages, so we're going to try to put things in perspective. All right, so we just got here on site. Explain to me what's what and where everything is.
Okay, sure. All right, so you came in through one of the entries. Right. The site will have two entries. So our main entry will be there. So all of this here is a roadway. Okay. So what you just came in is roadway number 1, and we lead all the way across roadway number 2. So all of this that you're seeing here, that is the basement, and all of that is basement parking. So the ramp to the basement is on the opposite side.
Right.
Right. So once you come in through this gate,
entrance,
you drive around this driveway, and they have the ramp will be on
the other side.
On the other side. We also have parking at level, and on the opposite side, right, the side facing South Avenue, we have some units on the ground floor and also the entry lobby. So this is the first part of it. We're at first floor, casting the second floor now.
Right. Now, what is your specific role as it relates to this project?
Separate and apart from the architect who designs it, or the technical person who puts the drawings together, what we're talking about now is the contract administration, which is an extremely important part of any development. What that is you are monitoring the construction, you are monitoring the way things come together, and what it really entails is the coordination of all the disciplines. We have many different professionals on this project. We have structural engineers, mechanical engineers, we have the architects, we have subcontractors, we have persons who are providing the data, we have persons who are providing the security, and all of those things have to be coordinated. We have subcontractors who are doing the pool. And what the architect has to do is all of that information must be coordinated. So my prime role on this project as contract administrator is all information, contractors, even the clients must come through, must filter through the architect so that we know exactly what is happening. It is very easy to lose track of the multiple things that are going on. And the role of the architect here is to ensure that, one, that as little mistakes, if any at all, happens, and if anything happens on site that we need to catch and get a hold of quickly, we need to know. So that, one, the drawings can be adjusted. Two, everybody needs to be kept in the loop. Everybody needs to know what is happening. So all information that comes to the architect is filtered out to all the other disciplines, to the clients and everybody involved.
How important is the 3D design to this project? And I know the blueprint is what you really go by, but does the 3D image, which I'm assuming it will eventually get to looking like that, how important is it?
You know, before, the advance of technology, architects would just be with line drawings or hand drawings and hand renders. Now with the increased technology and the machines, we can manage really wonderful 3D drawings, very complex images. That is part of our tool. Now it's as important as our line drawings because the way we communicate with our clients. Not everyone is able to understand a 2D drawing. Not everyone is able to understand a plan or an elevation, which is essentially the look of the building but a flat image of it. Right. With the 3D model, we can put all the information inside of that building. It's what we call building information modeling. And what we do is all the concrete, all the steel, some of the disciplines, they can actually put all of their mechanical information inside the building. We model the entire building, so we actually know what it's going to be before it actually goes down on the ground. So that 3D image that you saw, as simple as you saw it, we could cut sections through the building. We can look at the building in many different ways and we can really analyze the structure before it actually goes down. So the model is not only good for the client who can now see the building in its entirety. They can see the materials, they can see how it looks, how it feels. We can put persons in the building and let them walk through it. So you can see all of that as a movie. So you can experience the whole thing before the first stone is turned. So that model is very important to us.
Would you encourage other architects to do high-rise buildings in Kingston now?
Sure. High-rise is the way to go. And there are a number of reasons for that. You can look at this site, it's not very big. Number one, it decreases the cost of the development as a whole because you're able to put more development on a smaller plot of land. So going vertical is certainly the way to go. And another important thing about high-rise and providing housing for persons who need it is you can now build on land which is not set for agriculture. We don't have to expand or green belt. Kingston doesn't have to keep expanding at any alarming rate. We're not trying to get into agricultural lands to do new developments. We can actually, using high-rise buildings, using the technology that we have, we can put more persons
in less space.
In less space.
So tell us about some of the challenges that you've had to overcome on this particular project.
For this particular one, I could give you a couple of examples. Number one, once the drawings are done and we feel it's good and we're ready to go, everything has been quantified. There are times when you have to re-look and revisit a design. Maybe you've done something and you want to change it. One prime example is we wanted a way to give you more head heights, give each room a grander feel. And we had to, play with the idea of how is it that we can get rid of the beams. So we had to meet with the engineers, meet with the contractors, and we had to find a way of getting rid of those beams to give us the extra room and the extra feel. We're not lifting the heights of the building, we're just moving some of the beams out of the way. The biggest challenge with this is it's such a tall building and it's so heavy that the engineers as well as the architects, we had to find a compromise as to what beams can stay and what beams can go. And it took a lot of tireless nights to sort of figure it out.
Right.
So you've been asking me so many questions. If I could ask you one, what are your thoughts on this 20 South development that you're doing here?
I think it's perfect for me. As such, I think the location is good. I'm never too fussy about it being close to a main road. I think that's perfect for my lifestyle. And based on the 3D, rendering? Yes. What is it? I just like aesthetically how it looks. And I think it would be suitable for, the modern working woman like myself. So love it and good job, guys.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, Hugo, thank you so much for talking to us and bringing us on this construction site. I'm excited to see what 20 South will be. So guys, make sure you look out for 20 South on South Avenue early next year. That's 2018. And that's it for this episode of Home Sweet Home. I've been your host, Candy King.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent.